Are you a casual gamer or someone who cannot spill hundreds of hours into Fortnite or any other game that matter, but still want to be the best out of all your friends and even play in a competitive scene? Well, this video is for you. G'day everyone, Elite6 here, and I am one of those people. A little backstory, I'm a mostly casual gamer. I play games for fun, but sometimes competitively. I go to uni and I have work, so I don't have all the time pros have. However, I am still regularly called really good by my YouTube and TikTok chat. So today, I'm going to tell you all the tips that I personally use to help me become better so you all can be at the top of your game while still not pouring hours into your game. Just want to let you know that while some of these tips are specifically tailored to Fortnite, these tips can be modified for nearly every game and can help you improve in those games. I'll explain them as we get into them, so let's get started. The first tip I have, which I think is the most important, is your mentality. I know we all want to be the best, but we have to face reality. We don't have the hours pros have to spend on the game, so it's pointless to think that we will be good as them. It's better to have the mentality that you're going to get better every day and you're better than all your friends or even the general player base. Aiming lower will make your goals much better and prevent your mentality from burning you out of the game. You can always aim higher once you get better. Number 2 is a tip something all of you are already doing. Watch videos and streams about your game. There are thousands of hours of videos giving tips and tricks on how to improve and pros playing. Use those videos to analyze what the best players do and try to replicate or modify those to your playstyle. This can be a very difference between your average player and a really good player while still being casual. And this doesn't mean you have to sink hours into watching videos. You can watch a single video while having lunch, or if you have a little free time, use that time to start forming some cool straps and plays to implement into your game. The third tip is your keybinds and sensitivity. This can be very overlooked in many casual player tip videos, so I'm going to cover it in a bit more detail here. Most of you don't only play one game, but you play multiple games. It is important that your settings between those games are consistent. That's maybe your melee button, or your interact button, or even your crouching button. Having those settings the same means you already have the muscle memory of the controls of any game you play before you even touch the game. You're not fighting against those muscle memory and you're able to consistently rely on that button to perform the action you want. An example of this is when I play Warzone, I have F as my melee button. So whenever I need to melee, I always know it's F. Now when I play Rainbow Six Siege, I also set my melee to F. So I'm able to use the muscle memory from Warzone in Siege and don't have to confuse myself when performing that action. Fortnite is a little different due to the sheer amount of actions you can do and how different it is to other games, but still try to keep the settings as similar as possible. This can be a sprint, crouch, interact, inventory, push to talk, or even your weapon switch. For example, for me, I always press my shotgun button when switching from builds in a build fight, so I have that same button to change my weapons in other games, like Siege and Warzone. Most shooters have 2 weapons only, and they have a weapon switch keybind. So I just put the bind to my shotgun button in Fortnite, so I can always rely on that button to get my weapons out. Another very important setting is your sensitivity. It is important to keep your sensitivity the same in every single game. Now most of you know that sensitivity values is different between games, so instead of relying on that, we're going to rely on IRL measurements. The way I do this is find a distinctive spot anywhere in the world and line up your crosshair to that spot, then perform a 360. On controllers, the time it takes to perform a 360 should be the same between games. On keyboard and mouse, it's the distance the mouse physically moved on your mouse pad. I personally don't play on controller, but for mouse and keyboard, my sensitivity is 20.5 centimeters, which means it takes 20.5 centimeters to make a 360 in every single game I ever played. It's to ensure that my flicks are the same in every game and I don't have to learn new muscle memory for each game. Also meaning aim training is not required. Muscle memory is the downfall for all gamers who play multiple games, so instead of fighting against it, use it and you'll automatically become pretty good in every game you play. The last thing on this settings category is your other settings. This is mainly for Fortnite, but many other games have settings unique to them that can also be useful. In Fortnite, there are many play settings that can help you with your gameplay, and since you're a casual, you want every edge possible to win that game. Some of these settings are turbo build, confirm edit on release, and etc. There are also some keybinds that you may want to use to give you an edge. For me, Those are scroll wheel reset, scroll wheel interact, and optimal building binds. If you want a tutorial on how to do these binds, let me know in the comments and I'll create a short tutorial on how to do them. And another setting which gets overlooked is graphics. As a casual, getting the best performance is not as a big deal compared to competitive players. So instead, it's better to opt for settings to make your game look as beautiful as possible while still being playable. I already made a video on the best Fortnite graphic settings in chapter 4, so check that out for the best graphic settings, and you should be hitting around 100 plus FPS for a very smooth experience while still looking beautiful. As for other games, each game has unique settings which could help you give you an edge in your game, such as toggling to lean in Rainbow Six Siege. To find the best settings, I recommend looking for best setting guide videos on the games you play. And one little note, when finding binds you're going to use in every game, once you've found them, do not change them. Changing them will destroy muscle memory and you will have to go back to square one. So once you found your default settings, stick to them in every game you play, and this also involves sensitivity. Now for the other tips, from this point on it's more Fortnite specific. The rest of the video will cover ways to improve your in-game skills as effectively as possible. Most games have either practice modes or modes with quick respawn or even shooting ranges. Some examples of these are Plunder in Warzone, Deathmatch in Siege and Valorant, Arena in Apex, and any other mode that allows you to get back in the fight ASAP while still having some resemblance to the real game. Use these modes to hone on your skills and really push your skills to new limits. Also, try different challenges in actual games to limit yourself so you're able to come out even better when you're playing for real. If you are not interested in Fortnite, this is basically all I have for this video, so you are free to click on. But before you do, make sure you like and subscribe. Now for Fortnite, my very first tip is to use creative. Now most other YouTubers would say to go on some training maps to practice your skills. While I agree to a certain extent to practice more advanced skills, you should also be going into free-for-all maps such as the pit. The map allows you to use whatever weapons you want and just drop in and fight. Use this opportunity to be good in a wide range of weapons, and when you drop into fight, actually fight. In real games, third parties and getting outnumbered are common ways to die, and these creative maps are full of them. Use this to practice fighting with third parties, fighting when you're outnumbered, practicing when to reload, how to fight in the pre-built builds, learning if you should sit back or fight. You can see how quickly you can improve if you're able to fight better. And this shouldn't be a one-time thing. Whenever you get some free time and don't want to play actual games, just go into creative and see how many kills you can get in a short amount of time. A good challenge I always do when doing this is trying to beat the person with the highest kills within 15 minutes. Now then, once you're into actual games, play whatever mode you want to play. You already practiced third parties and getting outnumbered, so you can even play solo squads to see if you can take on a squad solo. Just whatever you do, do not camp or land in a very dead spot. This will make your playstyle only good for quiet games, and once you get into the final endgame fight, you'll not know what to do in that fight. So go out and fight from the very beginning. Yes, you will die a lot, but don't forget your mentality. Use the death and overwhelming pressure of fighting a lot to get better, and eventually you'll come out on top in every game and win easily every match. And while you play your actual games, spice it up a bit. Use a certain weapon, build a certain way, land a particular spot you don't usually land, play a different way. Use these to challenge yourself, push yourself into different situations, and learn how to come out of them alive. This will really push your skills in many different ways and really push your skills into that competitive level. Once you are able to consistently win every single game you play, this is the point where you decide if you want to still get better or chill out at the skill level. You are already pretty good at this point, able to hold up on your own if your friend dies in the fight and still able to come out on top. If you decide to stay at the skill level, then you're good. But if you want to go more competitively, it's time to go for more of those advanced skills. Go into training maps to practice those skills, figure out how they work, and be consistent in performing them. Then go into free-for-all maps like the pit. Start trying those advanced skills in some fights to learn when to use them properly and how it can coexist with your fighting style. Then once you know how to use it in a fight, go into actual games to test it out. Again, you might die a lot while using them, but keep trying, and once you're able to use them in actual game, you're up right there with the pros in the competitive scene while still being casual, or at this point you're considered a pro. And the final tip I have for you today is to have fun with it. You are casual, not a pro. You don't have to be at a certain skill. Have fun with it. Play many different games. Try different games. Take breaks when needed. Just enjoy the game. And that's all I have for you today. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos like this. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.